So imagine yourself walking into a car dealership and you pay 20, 30, 50 grand for a new car, 5 grand if you're thrifty like your boy, and you pay this money and you take the car, you drive it home, and when you get there, maybe you stop at the grocery store on the way home and you're like, I'll throw it in the trunk, and you go to open the trunk and the trunk is welded shut. And you're like, hey, what the heck? Let me call the dealer. Hey, buddy, the trunk's welded shut. Yeah, we know. We know. We put it in our notes. We've known forever. We've known since we manufactured it. That's just where we're at with our cars. The trunks are welded shut. We are working on it. Give us a few months, could be 2, 3. We don't know right now, and we're not going to tell you. And then we may get it done, but we've got other things that we're concerned about that are more pressing to our bottom line. So keep a lookout. We'll drop some notes when we unweld your trunk. Oh, by the way, you can't do anything about it because you don't own the car. You're leasing it. You're just driving it. It's ours. So we're not obligated to fix anything, but we'll fix it when we feel like it. Enjoy it while you have it. Forget about the trunk. Technically, the vehicle itself is functional. You can drive. You drove it. Where are you at now? The grocery. You drove it there. In any consumer market, you would have an argument that what just happened to you is that you got a defective product. It's not the full it's not done. It's not the thing you expected when you made your purchase. Your consumer rights have been violated. You got a lawsuit potentially on your hands, but at the very least, you have a defective product and you are eligible to return that and receive the compensation back, barring contracts and all that stuff. Or in our case, end-user license agreements. You get your money back. You breach the contract, sir. I want my cash. But in the game industry, that's just a Tuesday, baby. That's how games are released now. So buckle up. We're going to talk about it. I recently poured dozens of hours into Lego Batman. What do we got here? 51 hours into Lego Batman. 99.54% completion. I learned the basic mechanics. Yeah, sure, say what you want. It's a kid's game. Don't care. Was fun. Had a blast with it. It harkened back to the old days of the Arkham games, which I absolutely adore. I loved my time with it. 51 hours and 42 minutes were spectacular. It was a nostalgic trip down Batman Lane, all the movies I saw as a kid, and represented everything I love about Lego games and Batman. Now, I couldn't care a lick about Lego themselves. I've talked about that in past videos with their cost and such. But the Lego games, always thrifty and always a good time. And this was no different. But as you can see here, I'm one WayneTech cash away from 100% completion. That will give me the gold brick, and that would be that. You look at my trophy list here, we got 4 remaining. I need a single WayneTech cash, and that would allow me to purchase the final upgrade, which getting that last WayneTech cash would give me all the collectibles, and bada bing, bada boom, you get your platinum trophy. 4.6% of players have achieved this. So why should my story be any different? I should be one of them there percents, right? Bottom line. And you know why I don't have that one? Because an entire chest with that collectible, plus the puzzle itself connected to the chest that would allow me to open it, is just not in my game. Not even in the framework. Here, shoot that for no reason. Look at this. All right, we got my map, right? You looking at my map? You see my map. We'll zoom it in. Hey, WayneTech cash, baby. The last and only remaining collectible. Should be a one and done, seal the deal, give me my platy, call it a day, baby. Well, there it is. What the hey? There's even the glowy thing at the top. There's the glowy indicator. There's the overlay, which is usually directly on the things. There should be a chest here. In addition to a chest, there's this whole puzzle here that you must solve. You don't just, it's not one of the just open it ups ones. There should be a cord running up to here and a security camera. I've looked up the videos, done everything I can do to try to resolve this. And wouldn't you know it, it just ain't there. I don't know why. I'm not a game developer. I don't code things. Don't know why. Just know should be there. As a gamer, I know it's missing. It's not there. That is established. And here's my stance. When developers pushed games to the $70 price point, and now it's become this common practice to push them to 80 or 90 for deluxe editions, not only can you get some arbitrary little stuff that no one but maybe a streamer, that would like to show it off to the people that are, oh, look, I got this cool skin that's silver instead of black, whatever. They have now started doing these early release. Oh, you get to play it 3 days earlier. Now, fortunately, I didn't buy this game and pay that and get that, but I did pay $75 with tax for what I was hoping was the whole game. I just wanted to play it from beginning to end. You may be saying to yourself, Brockalock, but trophies don't matter. They matter. They matter to some people. They may not matter to you, but this ain't your cup of soup, so eat something else. This is for me and the people who care about these things. And if you're okay with spending the amount of money that you're supposed to spend to get a thing and then not get the thing, carry on. Carry on, my wayward poor man. Because this is not right. This is a problem. This shouldn't happen. I don't order a Big Mac meal and be like, oh, they forgot my fries. Fine. I know, give me my dang fries, man. I gave you all of the money that it is now costing, which is like $40 for a dang number one. I want my fries, and I'm not getting my fries here. Batman has retained my fries. I don't know if Robin ate them or what, but that's where we're at. I gave you 100% of my money. WB Games, I want 100% of my game. And you have left my puzzle and my ability to complete your game and to praise it. I was one cash away from praising this game. I have done nothing but enjoy my time with this. And you come up short right at the end. And I've been premature. I did the same thing with Crimson Desert. It's something that's becoming a trend now, is where I'm giving these games credit before they're finished on both ends, on the developer side and on my side. As a company selling me a thing, you're making a promise to me as a consumer that the thing I'm getting is the thing you want me to have, the whole thing. And right now, with the last 3 games I've played, you're breaking your promise to me as a consumer, and I'm not happy about that at all. And no one else should be. You shouldn't be happy with this. You shouldn't be okay with it. And if this was just an isolated incident with just me, hey, things happen. I get it. But if you scour the internet for more than a second, you'll notice that there are copious reports of similar things happening to others. It ain't isolated to just me. It's not a one-off. Would I be mad? Sure, I'd be bummed. But I wouldn't be discussing a systemic issue here in the gaming industry if it was just me. There's a documented list of problems by the community, from optimization issues and things missing from this game, that it's not fair to people who give up the money they give up. You got one game, maybe you can buy a month of disposable income's worth of game. You give a company $80, 90 because you trust them and you want to help them out by getting the little deluxe edition, and WB needs an extra 20. Let me give it to them. And then you're betrayed. Your consumer trust is betrayed.
Classic Gotham.
Completionists are reporting that, much like mine, entire open world puzzles are failing to render. Specifically in Amusement Mile, there are progression blocking combat scripts that are failing to fire. And sometimes the simple fix is to restart, load a recent checkpoint. But as with my case here, players are losing hours. Sure, did I get the 50-something hours of enjoyment out of this? Absolutely. Only to trip and fall on my face and scrub the concrete at the finish line. You know what? Forget this marathon. I'm not glad I ran it. You gotta keep that. You have to retain that as a as someone spending their money and giving it to someone else. You have this belief of a trust that you pass on to this company, that I believe you're going to give me the quality that this money is buying. If you're playing on PC, you're rolling the dice technically. There are massive memory leaks reported that drag down the FPS. There was even an issue with NVIDIA frame generation. There's an option to check it in the UI and enable it. But if you go in there, players have dug into the files and it shows, nah, it's not on. It says it is, but it's not. So I trust when I go to the options and I set, I want A to jump, A's gonna jump. But there are things that may be beyond my technical prowess to verify, so I just believe that it works. And if you're telling me something does and I'm not getting that, I have to be upset. That's all I can be, is upset. And the question is, how does this happen? This is a multi-million-dollar project backed by a studio with that money, or at least with people who fund it, that invest in it. So how does it go through a quality assurance process, get through that, and then they're like, yeah, this is good. $90, hit the road. They'll buy it. What happens there? How do we get to that? Let's discuss, shall we? So when a game launches like this, the gut reaction for me is the same. It's like, how did this even happen? Did anyone test this game? What was the goal here? Did they even know that they were having these problems? Was it something that got signed off on regardless of knowledge? Was quality assurance, were the testers lazy? Did they just say, leave it in there? I gotta get home, my shift's over. I can't buy that. And I'm gonna go ahead with probably, it's a degree of guess, but also a degree of certainty. There's no way that happened. If anyone testing this game has pride in what they do, and you can't tell me that no one does, they found these things. They found these things, and they put them in a list, and they said, here you go, boss. This is what I got, the supervisor. This is what I found today. Here's my list. And over the period of quality assurance throughout this game's development, those things came to someone, they compiled a list of a spreadsheet, whatever, and they discussed it with whoever needed to discuss the financials, and they said, all right, well, this game's got to push. My publisher's telling me the game's going out May, whatever. You got 2 more months. We have 5,000 bugs. We can do 4,000. Which ones stop people from playing the game? Let's fix those. Is the Batmobile only turning left? Does it have NASCAR syndrome? Let's fix that. Let's give it a right turn in there. But, we got this one script that sometimes blocks out a WayneTech cache. Well, most people aren't going to collect 200. Move that down the list. That puzzle, and it's only happening sometimes? Let's just hope the people that it happens to don't, get that one. Maybe they won't go for that chest. I assure you, people working on this project were like, yeah, we got some scripting issues. We're bumping into them everywhere. And someone in the hierarchy had to say, nah, this is important, this is less important, and this is not important at all. Stop bringing me this crap. Work on this crap. Get this crap tightened up a little bit. And we'll see where we land 2 months out, 1 month out. This process is it's a process referred to as triage, something that I know from the medical world. You rate your problems and you attack the ones that are most pertinent and that can be dealt with. And there are some that just get pushed to the back because you're limited on resources and person power and all those things that come into solving problems. And as a supervisor or a publisher, it's your job to dictate what things are most important and to triage that list and to delegate the resources to accomplish the goals. And then you got the publisher in a boardroom telling you, no, we need it. We need the game. So what are you going to do? Not give them the game? No, they'll fire you and find someone else who will. And then you like, what, does no one work for anyone doing anything? Is that a solution? No. Somebody's got to make those difficult calls, and then me, the consumer, sitting here with no platinum. I'm the trickle down, baby. if you've been following Grand Theft Auto for any amount of time, or any game, really, any game's released, you know about fiscal years, you know that they have investor calls, and you've got your profit and loss statements, and if something's falling within a fiscal year, and we're like, oh, well, we're expecting to release Lego Batman before the year's out, and this is our projection that we've given to the investors, that this is the amount of earnings they're going to have after the quarter. Hey, we can't push Lego Batman back a quarter, because now we've just spent as much money making Batman on these spreadsheets and preparing our investors who allowed us to do this for the return they're going to get. Hey, ship it, baby. You got to get that Lego Batman out there to the masses. They'll buy it. We've already got a ton of early pre-orders, enough to get this ball in motion so the investors don't run away on our next project. So get it out there. Hey, by the way, since they're going to get the same product, we can tell them, hey, you can get it 3 days earlier. Don't worry, we're putting out a day one patch that'll clean up most of this. But if we put it out 3 days early to some of our early adopters, we'll charge them an extra $20 because they're stupid. They'll pay it to test our game for us. And then, by the time everyone gets the game, we should be able to touch up a few of these middling bugs on our list, and the investors will still be happy. It's fine. There's these safety nets in place that have conditioned developers based on the consumer purchase power, that they can get away with things that wouldn't have been acceptable 20 years ago. You buy a Nintendo Entertainment System cartridge, there's no patch. You got what you got. And Nintendo had a seal of approval on that thing, that if they said this is good to go, you might have some game breakers in there that just no one could have foreseen. Sure, the code was simpler back then, maybe a little easier to assure quality on things like that, but that doesn't matter. If your product has grown and changed, then the verification of quality should have grown and changed with it. And if the game can't come out, hey, say what you want about Rockstar, but if they take an extra 2 years on a game they projected to sell 2 years ago, the investors are going to die. They know they're going to get their return. So maybe that's a special case. It's hard to put across the board to every developer, but Rockstar is going to put out something that isn't going to delete my saves or not allow me to finish. It's just not going to happen. They are taking the time to clean things up like that. It's a special case, but you can't tell me WB Games could not have gotten this done. And even worse, if they don't finish, if the company just decides, hey, they got enough patches, we're not going to fix this. That's going to come to a point where they do that. We've got 100 bugs left, Chief. Hey, we're working on Lego John Wick over here. Too late. Hopefully people forget about it. No, I'm not forgetting. I'm making a video that will live on YouTube forever with 30 views. But dag nabbit, it's out there. And on one hand, this new acceptance that we as the consumer have developed, on one hand, I was willing to accept it for developers who were solo artists or small teams who didn't have the resources to finish their game or would run out of money. Hey, let's do an early access thing where people who truly want to support what we do can contribute to the project and play along and still get a taste of it now because they're dedicated to us and they want to see our project through to fruition. That was acceptable, but it slowly became the normal part of the process by every developer. Hey, make what game you can, set a release date, and then we'll put out a day one patch. We got the internet now, they're connected to it. They can't play unless they are in some cases. So they're going to get a day one patch. We'll keep working. And now we've got their money. So we have the resources to continue going for a little bit longer. Let's work on it a couple months after. Maybe do a little roadmap. some DLC for the future, just to continue getting a little bit of money out of them afterwards to justify this process of continuing to polish a game, even though all our investors would love for us to move on and make something else. There's that, compromise at play between the developer and the publisher. And as the consumer, hey, you either trust or you stop. I love gaming, so I'm gonna play games, right? What's the solution here for me? I had trust in WB Games that it's Batman. Of course it's gonna be good and done. He's one of the most identifiable characters in the world. All these Easter eggs, everyone knows what's going on here. This is gonna be clean as a whistle. I'd come from Crimson Desert, which clearly was not clean at all, and is still being patched up to this day, 3 months after release. I got in here and this game was so sharp. I was like, well, it was a breath of fresh air. And now to make it to the very end and see that to some degree they had pulled the same stunt. It's hard to continue buying games that are $80 when I know I could buy a possibly complete game for $20. Have some enjoyment for 50 hours out of some of those. Maybe less, maybe more, and not feel like, oh, if I run across a bug, well, I have some forgiveness. It's a small development team. Let them know. Maybe they'll patch it in. But if they don't, it was $20. It wasn't a premium. It wasn't supposed to be a premium purchase or a premium experience. I can let that slide. But here, no, this is unacceptable. You're charging me quality price and giving me less than. So where do I go from here? Do I just stop buying games that cost $80? I'm not. I'm not going to do it. Man, I remember when Saints Row, the reboot, came out a couple years ago. That was the last time I pre-purchased a game. I pre-ordered a game. I said never again because it hit and I was like, come on. That game was just not done. And trash. Let's just call it what it was. But here, I said, there's no way. There's no way this is a dead ringer. This is a golden goose right here. This game will be done. It will be great. And I've been let down again. So I don't have an answer. I never do in these videos. What do? Do you just not buy games that cost more than $10? Or do you roll the dice and just let yourself be disappointed? Or are you pleasantly surprised when, hey, they got it right. Everything I wanted to do was in here. All my expectations were met. And even people who say, oh, well, it's trophies, or it's extra stuff. No, those things are included as a part of the core product. It's 100% not okay to not have them implemented fully. There is absolutely plenty to complain about here, and I have done so. But again, it's not about what I think. If it was about what I thought, I'd shut the camera off and just play my dumb game and move on to the next one. I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. There's a lot to say here. I can't believe no one would have anything to say about this, so let me hear it. Are you on the side of the big developer? You think it's fine, they did enough? Or are you just as annoyed about this and upset that the money you spend isn't being treated with the respect it should be? You think I'm just complaining about something that doesn't matter? Play your silly games, Brockalock. Yeah, I will. And I'll complain about them. I thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.